live, now that you were done with this. Hi everybody, welcome to Children of Rath. We're playing some D&D. It's the Magic Gathering world of Dominaria. If you've missed all these goddamn episodes, everybody froze up on my end. I really like my system. This happens occasionally with this.
I'm not present.
It did that freeze and fast forward. It's a problem I've been having with Discord for myself. That freeze and fast forward. That Matt
Have you updated Discord recently?
It just updated when it crashed.
Yeah.
It crashed right before the like when I started the first call. It crashed. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that.
It's the new icon.
It is
the new Discord icon.
It is like
everyone up.
It's like purplier.
It is purplier.
It's blurple.
Yeah, it's like
mine looks bluer.
Like the upper. Well, maybe that's bluer, like a darker blue. Like it'll add more purple. Like it's the normal Discord in the upper corner, and then in like down like on my computer, like the icon is like changed color. The taskbar, yeah, it's changed color. It's gotten darker. Anyway, kind of like a blur. Anyway, I was saying, Children of Rath, D&D meets Magic the Gathering. Welcome. Before, I don't know how much you've got cut off from the blurb. And forgive me if there's blurps. You know, again, I haven't figured out how to fix that yet. I'll look into it some more. I was trying to say, if you've missed a bunch of these episodes, go back and watch them on YouTube. They're all up there. They're great. But last time we played a couple weeks ago, these people got in shenanigans. We had, they went down into the basement with their new friends who are totally not people called Planeswalkers, who travel between different dimensions and totally not showed up there randomly and may have famous names and might be known, and were there, and they helped with a very powerful demonic force that was totally imprisoned in the basement that machines were keeping it alive with. Unhooking the machines, they discovered there's a power system. Claud followed that into like strange underground facilities they didn't know about. As we discussed before the show, people realized they never searched for secret doors.
Shame on us.
We had a lot going on, man. You know, classes and everything. I've just been like super busy making sure no one in this fucking party died.
We also had a lot of real weird crap already going on.
Been trying to
Mirrors
die.
we knew about.
Yeah.
And Carrie's been trying to die.
I've been trying to stop that.
I'm trying to figure out why my wife's pregnant. Took a whole week off just to understand that and Wikipedia it.
Actually, if your wife's pregnant.
You've got Schrodinger's baby.
Why, if, how, when, where.
Who?
Anyway.
Is the big question.
So now you know there's an underwater facility that
It's
Claud...
actually Nib's child.
Oh, God.
That'd be weird.
So yeah, underwater facility. Cool ass dome that you've got a rope going to. You did notice that like as you went away from it, you like kind of like you lost sight of it yet didn't. You know, it has like this field around it that rather than making it invisible makes you just like ignore it. Probably that's why the sea life and stuff like Slarky Slither Kink went by it and probably didn't even notice it unless you're exactly like paying attention to it. It's kind of like it's the illusion. If you don't interact with it, you don't know it's there. If you don't concentrate on it, you don't know it's there. Claude figured out it was there and it was like, oh Jesus, that's weird.
I found it from the inside out.
No cultist yet, Lightning. No cultist yet. That's later. You do have those. They want to make Carrie their Dark Queen.
And sell her more drugs.
I mean...
I will accept 2 drugs, please.
But you have to become their queen to get the drugs.
You know, they say that I have to become it. They don't say I have to stay.
Look,
I get the drugs, I cede power to someone else, I'm free.
Yeah. Once you go Cabal, you don't go back, though. You know that's the way it goes.
That's the way it goes for most people.
It's
I'm
like
not
Fight
most
Club.
people.
It's like Fight Club, except Cabal Club.
So who do we all have going out on the dinghy?
I'm not allowed.
To
I will
like
drown.
save you? You mean?
No, to go. Claude already made it back. We're gonna go.
I'm taking everyone back so they can examine the area.
Yeah, you've got
Because
your
no one
kind
else
of...
can squeeze through the pipes around the pipes like I did.
So, like, this is still, Kaz is still working on his new boat, but this is, like, there was a boat here. It's basically, like, maybe a little bit, it's like a single-mast sailing vessel.
Schooner.
So you have this, like, schooner that you're taking out to the location, where, Claude had marked something. He had, like, taken out, like, a bottle of something he had drunken, corked it up, tied a rope to it. Yeah, and attach that, like, rope, or actually, I think it was, like, twine. You, like, twined out your rope and twined it all the way down to the bottom, to this thing, because it was, a couple 100 feet down.
I feel like anything with water, I'm probably one of the better candidates, because I don't have to worry about, like, you know, breathing and pressure as much, I imagine.
This is an accuracy.
So, I can go.
Yeah,
Lutula
Kaz
would
can go.
probably be good too if she's down to do that.
She might be. But if Carrie's staying back, she might stay with Carrie.
Fair.
Just in case something needs to happen that it does involve water that's sudden. Because, the rest of you are unaware what your guests can do.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Did you build that
know.
iron lung for yourself, Kaz?
Oh yeah, I've had fake lungs for a while now.
Hell yeah.
I
Shit,
know
not fake, better lungs.
the one artificer was coming with us.
Arn?
Karn, yes.
Karn, yeah.
I think Karn's coming along, because he's a robot man. He doesn't need to breathe.
Well, and he probably can help
Yeah.
identify some of this artifice,
Yeah, definitely.
along with Kaz.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I learned that my cool artificer abilities that I never really had much idea what they do are all just plot bullshit. Like I can just advance the plot with my powers.
But
I've become onto a god.
Look, I may have used like Kaz to add plot artifice powers.
No, this is good. I now have control over things.
hey, I could. You know what? I didn't even think about it when I was trying to figure out some of these stuff in there. I should have drank your blood.
No.
Kaz, I need your help. Oh God, what the hell's going on?
You need to save that for an emergency and not, this is a place I could just bring Kaz later. But instead, I'll drink his blood.
Well, if I would have got stuck.
If you got stuck, sure. But if you were, like, separated and you're in danger and you need to, like, think your way out, then sure. Drink my blood.
I want to drink your blood.
Well, you got it in a little shitty bottle.
Anyway, yeah. It doesn't take you long to get the schooner out to the location where Claude mentioned, and you can find the bottle. The bottle's still there floating.
Do
It's still
you
attached.
need me to ferry each of you down?
I mean, we just follow the rope down, no?
I didn't know how I... Well, obviously, Max I'm going to have to take down, or he'll just sink.
Isn't that kind of the plan, is we just sink down?
It's not all the way to the bottom.
Oh, is it not?
I'll just follow the rope. I'm just gonna, like, hold the rope and pull myself
Yeah, I
down
did-
with the rope.
I don't know how else people could swim. I will swim Maxwell down in my mermaid form.
Perhaps you should wait till the others are in before I go down. My weight will mean I will travel down quickly into the water, and I would like to coordinate that I do not smack into them.
I
Blood.
can let you know when it's all clear.
Excellent. I will anchor our vessel.
Okay, I will ferry Maxwell down.
I'll just follow along, swimming.
I'm not gonna have you make swim checks. You're far enough away from the coastline that the waves aren't too bad. Merfolk and Kaz, even if you have trouble, you technically don't have to breathe underwater. So
I don't have to
And
breathe
I can always
underwater.
help him. I can always get Maxwell in and help him the rest.
Yeah.
Help.
So
I've also spent a lot of time on boats and on the
Yeah.
sea.
I'm
I'm
sure
probably a decent swimmer.
yeah, Maxwell, Kaz, the rope seems to go to nowhere at first. Like, you don't see anything. It's just open ocean for a while. And it isn't until, like, when Claude quite literally gets you up against this dome, do you realize, wait, holy shit, there's a dome here.
Oh wait, holy shit! There's a dome here.
Yeah. Yeah, like, your brain all of a sudden recognizes it.
Probably don't really. I probably didn't realize that because I found it from the inside.
Yeah, you still, it was still weird for you because it's like, I know it's there, but you're it's like your eyes aren't working quite right, you know, kind of thing when you're looking for
I
it.
know it's here some. There it is.
Yeah. Yeah. As I described previously, the inside of this dome is interesting. It has like almost kind of like a grass floor for most of it, with two seemingly exits on the bottom. One is a hatch, which Claude had opened up and has the rope tied to get in and out, which has been open. And the other is seemingly some kind of like door in the floor that leads outside. There's the controls nearby, and in the center of this is a large tree. The dome itself probably goes up maybe about like 30 feet, and the tree goes to the top of it, filling a lot of this dome. Also, the inside here is probably brighter than you think it should be. Now you're really noticing it, especially you, Claude. It's bright in here in comparison. Like, you go down 200 feet into the water, it's dark. You know, you've lost a lot of light. But down here, there's like a glow to everything.
I did notice there was magic on the dome before.
Oh, yeah. There is like a spiral staircase that goes down in near the tree, slightly off center. Like, the tree is almost in the center, so it seems as though like the spiral staircase goes up just slightly off center, which is also a little unusual because you think it would be perfectly balanced on top, but it's not.
That goes down to the electrical room, or at least where all the pipes converge.
Excellent. I think that's where we should go then.
Well, let me go back up and let Karn know it's okay to come down.
Sure,
and
I'm
I'll
going to
be
start.
back in a moment.
I'm going to start poking around. I'll try not to blow anything up.
There's plenty of panels and such.
All right, yeah.
So, I'll swim up. I'll also let him know it's not really easy to see the dome. I think there's some kind of magic that obscures it. But I can show you the way.
Mm-hmm. There, of course, I said, like, the main thing that's in this room, other than grass and a tree, is a panel that seems to be near the two doors. The two hatches out. The one like kind of door on the bottom hatch. Kaz, it's big, much bigger than the hatch. The hatch is definitely person sized. This must be for something far bigger.
Are we talking like Angry Carrion sized or Slith Nakarthro King sized?
Submersible size.
Like, much bigger than an Angry Carry size. Well, no, maybe like Angry Demon Carry size. Because Demon
Yeah,
Carry
that's
size
what I mean. Like when Carrie turned into a fucked up demon and tried to kill us.
Maybe a little bigger than that. If we're talking size categories, like huge, like it's like the entire thing is maybe like between 15 and 20 feet long and about 7 feet wide. And it's like a set of like metal doors that seem to open down into the water.
Okay, so more like when Claude turns into a giant size.
Yeah, probably too thin for him, but definitely Claude
Sure,
giant.
of course.
Yeah. It'll take a little maneuvering on Karn's end because he falls, so he'll probably like there'll be a thump on the dome at one point in time. If I'm to be honest. Before he'll maneuver himself around and get in.
I'll help him in any way I can.
Well, he probably needs a little bit. He's a metal man,
Yeah.
so sinking is probably more his forte.
Yeah.
He'll, as soon as you're out of the water, he'll be like, there may be more difficulties getting me out of here rather than in.
We might be able to find a different way out. I just followed the easy paths that I could find. There could be hidden doors down here.
If you could locate the anchor line once we're finished here, I could perhaps use that to climb myself back up.
I most likely should be able to.
Excellent. What do we have here?
Panels.
Yeah.
A tree. I'm actually going to climb the tree.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to go into my liquid form and just kind of go up the tree.
It's a deciduous tree of some kind. More akin to like a massive, maybe oak or something. Very puffy branches, goes out. There is no sign of any kind of leaf litter or anything. It feels like a normal tree. It looks healthy. Everything looks fine about it. It's just strange. And even the grass in here is like almost manicured. Like it was like a lawn or something. You know, like the grass has been cut short. Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing seems to be living in the tree though.
You don't find anything.
I'll solidify near the top and be like, well, there's nothing alive up here.
Unusual.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Also, wasn't there another panel near the tree?
There is another panel near the tree.
I will point that out as well.
I would like to do one of my abilities, the Sense and Analyze Artifice, with
Sure.
the panel.
Okay. So you'll take some time and you'll look it over and investigate it. Karn will probably be looking over the other panel, the one just to get an idea of how the gates and stuff work there. From what you can tell, this device seems to monitor the tree.
Interesting.
It's weird because it's you can look at it and it looks like you can control the tree to a degree. You think.
Can I make it shake so that Claude falls out?
Not quite like that.
You turn it into an evergreen.
Probably more like move it through seasons. Maybe.
Yes. In fact, that's what you can do.
I will toy around with that a little bit. I want to know if it makes fruit.
You think you're probably in early spring. You can move it into a fall, a late summer, and yeah, little bits of fruit will appear. It'll kind of go through a flowering stage where flowers will come out, and they'll come into it. It'll actually happen quite rapidly over the span of a number of minutes. You can kind of shift through it.
What kind of fruit is it?
Something akin to an apple.
I'll pick one.
Oh, be careful. Some apples are real shitty. He done did bite it. He done did bite the shitty apple.
Alright, well, it tastes awful, and I will need you to give me a Constitution save. Thank you.
With advantage, because I'm resistant to poison.
It isn't poison we're worrying about, so you do not have advantage.
Claude, why would you eat this?
I spit it out.
Mm-hmm.
Could be dangerous.
Okay, you take a bite out of it, and there's an incredible tingling in your mouth for that kind of bursts out. Anyway, you take 7 electrical damage.
Oof. Is this visible?
You're ah! You're no, it's probably not visible. You're just hey, God, what the hell was that?
Are you all right?
It felt like that electricity we got zapped by in my mouth.
Okay, interesting. I'm going to collect some of these apples.
I will chuck some down to you.
Are these apples a conduit or something?
You want to try biting one and finding out?
Let's not. That could be very dangerous with my tongue.
True.
What about me? I'm one giant piece of metal.
Well, we didn't know it would do that at first.
Mhm.
We didn't know the electrical part of it happened until you bit it. So thank you for advancing the cause of science.
Perhaps someone a bit more grounded would be better to
Claud,
test this out.
You're actually pretty sure what happened with that is. You effectively just sent a large amount of magical energy based on that, like, electrical power that's coming into this place, into that tree to alter its physical state. Probably it keeps a charge for a while afterwards.
I think it could be because you changed the tree.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to hold on to the apples no matter what.
Wait a
For
minute.
curiosity's sake.
Tree? Trees are plant life. That means... Does it work? I just have a revelation. I don't know if the tongue kicks in.
Yeah. What are you saying?
Surely this tree has the answer we need to all of our problems.
Why would I have the answers to anything of your problems?
It's talking again. The tongue's doing it again.
Well, keep talking then. Use it.
Tree, what's your name?
I'm a tree, I don't have a name.
Can I give you one?
I don't really care.
Do you know why you're... Can you ask it why it's down here?
Why are you down here?
I don't really know. Everything is a blur, a constant.
Why are your apples dangerous?
I don't know. Everything's a constant blur.
All it
It's-
says
I
is
feel-
everything's a constant blur.
My mind wanders and changes constantly. One minute you're a seedling, the next you're a massive tree. You have flowers, you have fruit. It's winter. Everything seems to change, it becomes a blur.
Have you seen anyone else besides us here?
There was the one that planted me.
Do you remember what they look like?
I don't have eyes.
I think they just sensed that there was someone.
Ask about the vibe of the person. Like, was it the bad vibe or a good vibe?
What kind of vibe did you get from this person? Was it good? Bad?
I don't understand. I'm a plant.
It doesn't understand. It's a plant.
Okay.
Surely there's something we can ask it that would help.
Ask if it knows how it's able to grow down here.
How do you know how you're able to grow down here? This doesn't look like the right environment for a plant.
I only exist here. Everything is numb.
It only exists here. Everything is numb.
Does it want to keep existing here?
Do you want to keep existing here?
All life wishes to exist.
It
I
said
do not-
all life wishes to exist.
Let me put it this way. If it has a tormented existence, it doesn't understand it has a tormented existence.
Man, trees, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't make heads or tails of them.
Both of you I wish to exist.
Okay, I don't know what else to ask a tree.
I don't either.
Does it have any bites? I don't know.
Are there other plants here?
What was the grass?
I am the only one that I have known.
Can you talk to the grass?
Can I?
Let me see here.
I mean, it is plant life.
Yes.
Oh, joy. I look at the grass. What do you have to say for yourself?
How many voices does he hear? Because each blade is a different plant.
Hello. Oh, hi. Hi. Hello. How's it going? There's a chorus of voices of like thousands of voices speaking to you. Oh,
I'm going to need one of you to be the representative, okay?
I'll do it. No, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'm the smartest one. I'm the best one.
I want the smartest one to talk to me.
All right, they're gonna argue for an ungodly amount of time.
Just point at one. Just pick one.
I want you to talk to me.
He chose me. No, he chose me. He was pointing at me.
I chose the second
Touch
voice.
it. Physically touch it. With your hand.
I put my finger on one of the blades.
Okay.
You, answer me.
Oh, hi. What's up?
Are there... Guys, what are we asking? I finally have its attention.
Like, I will tell you, all of you know something weird is going on because the plants move unusually when he's speaking with them.
How long's it been here?
How long have you been here?
I don't understand.
Not that blade of grass for answering you improperly.
I don't want to torture the thing. It sounds so happy.
I mean, look, I don't know what to ask plants. I say I'm gonna look. I know technology and machinations more than I understand botany. I
I
might.
can become a druid, but I don't think that's going to be useful.
Have you seen anyone around these parts recently?
It's been quiet since the person left.
What did they do while they were here?
Played around with stuff, walked through.
Probably talking about me. Oh.
They're stepping on us.
What kind of stuff were they playing around with?
I don't know. The metal things that come out from between us. We try to grow on them, but we can't.
Metal things that come out between us. I examine the tree.
Great.
No, like the panels that come out of the floor. Yeah.
Oh, that's what they meant. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought there was like a rod that we didn't see or something.
Nothing that you don't see right now.
Are these panels removable?
I don't know. We only exist here. Right, guys? Yeah, we exist. We exist.
Claude, can you see if you can move these panels at all? With like your
Top of a
minotaur?
tree.
Huh?
Claude, you can get down from the. You don't have to stay in the tree, Claude.
I also don't want to mess with the panels. That's your job.
All right, fine. I'll go try to remove one of the panels.
Maybe you could. You're not sure. You'd have to probably break down the entire mechanism.
Okay, not easily.
The thing
It's
could probably
very-
short circuit.
It feels so good when you step on us.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that. Okay, this seems like a waste of time. Shall we carry on, gentlemen?
Goodbye. We all say goodbye to you. What some of you might not realize is that grass is probably one organism technically with many voices.
Oh boy.
Some grasses are like that. They're all connected together.
Clover does that.
Karn, do you have any luck over there?
I believe I've figured out what all these levers and contraptions do.
Good. Anything useful at the moment?
Probably nothing that we need to worry about. I can open either of the panels up. Also, it seems like there is a way to disable the field, which is protecting this building. But there seems to be no need to do that currently.
I would agree with that. We don't need to disable the thing protecting the building that we're in.
Well, I think he means the thing that hides the building.
Yeah, that's what he means.
Okay, true. I don't know if there are sharks in this water, though.
As far as I know, there are some. Most waters have sharks.
I could take you down if you like.
Yes, I want to see the weird other rooms.
Okay. I will climb out of the tree
Mm-hmm.
and start heading down the stairs.
So Max, are you following?
Yeah.
Bye,
I'm dropping the plant.
bye, bye, bye.
I'll purposely
I do this.
step on the grass.
Yay! Yay!
If I could justify flying.
You're welcome.
Grass is weird, man.
Sure is, Chief.
All right. You can head down the spiral staircase, which, for a period in the spiral staircase, you will see that, like, it starts off kind of actual glass all around you. So you can kind of, similar to, like, the massive glass dome, you can see out into the sides. You can see that it goes down for some, like, 30-some feet before plunging into the seabed. And it goes down about another 50 feet before you get down to the bottom, where there's this strange-looking door with a pair of manacles in it, keeping it open.
Oh.
Oh, this was Claude. He told me that he did this.
Yes, I had no other way to keep the door open.
It looks like on the outside there's no exact keyhole. There's seemingly some kind of puzzle. I would say it would be like a 3D picture where parts of it are pressable. Probably you'd have to know the right order to press the things in.
It's some Resident Evil shit.
I would pick the lock from the inside. It was much easier.
Mm-hmm. Beyond the door is what best we can describe as some kind of control room. There is a door which leads out to
Holding?
like landing area.
Yeah.
And a glass kind of pane looking out over this massive device that fills the center of this other room with the panels in front of it. So it's like in front of you, there's the panels, there's a door to the side that leads out so that you can walk around the thing with all like the ladders and stuff that lead to the various levels that Claude was going on. And yeah,
Arn, I'd be careful if you want to use the ladders. I don't know if they'll support your weight.
but perhaps it would be best for now for me to stay here.
If we need your help, I will be sure to let you know.
Yeah.
Also, if you hear an explosion, it probably means that we need your help.
And that's the cylinder thing all the pipes lead to.
Yeah. You can see, like, you can look up and see the top from the window next to the panels that seem to be maybe controls for this thing. That there's this kind of strange massive pipes that kind of cap the top. And then it kind of just goes down hundreds of feet out of sight. Claude can describe how the fact it is a few hundred feet tall, this thing.
Yeah, I started at the bottom.
Yeah. It's some kind of massive, strange metal cylinder with piping coming out in, like, clusters in 6 places. And this weird, like, piping at the top and bottom that fill up the room. And then the network of catwalks that basically go up and down it most of the way.
Yes. I don't know if the cylinder is just one thing that holds all the same stuff, or if it's sectioned off.
You could tell there was a sectioning, but you don't know if they're connected together.
Right, that's what I mean. I don't know if there's different parts technically to it, or if it's just the construction was built in sections.
Yeah. It looked about every 20 feet, I think it was, that there was a sectioning off.
Yeah. But that could also just mean, you know, that's how it was constructed. 20 feet at a time, another 20 feet, another 20 feet.
Hey, interesting.
What a strange area.
There must have been some way for him to lay... I'm assuming this was built by the same man that is currently locked in our basement. There must have been some way for him to have laid all the wiring and groundwork. There might be passages into maintenance sort of tunnels.
So...
I just found the easiest way back out. I didn't look for any secret panels. I could start looking around and see if I can find anything.
I think we should do this.
Probably a good idea. It'll give us more insight into this place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can start looking around. That's going to be time-consuming to look around for that stuff. But Claude, you're probably the best bet on that one.
Yeah, I mean, as he investigates the technology, I can start doing that, is what I'm saying.
I will need you to make an investigation check if you're going to be doing that, then.
Oh, great investigation. Not exactly my best thing. Perception's better for me. I get +0.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll leave that for now.
What I am going to say is, I'm going to go into my natural form and gloop and probe on the walls.
Okay. Why don't you give me one more roll? We'll save investigation with advantage, since you're trying to. You can actually feel a little bit better if there's like maybe separations to a degree. Okay.
Much better.
Much better. All right. So that's going to take you quite a while, though, because it is like, you know. In the meantime,
I'm taking hundreds of feet of wall sections to gloop on. Yes.
In the meantime, Kaz, what do you want to do? Or Maxwell, the two of you are up there. I mean, Karn's probably just going to start looking over the panels and start investigating them.
I think I'm going to keep, examining the technology, try to determine a purpose.
Uh-huh.
I guess I'll try to help out Karn doing whatever he's doing.
Okay.
Not really sure what my skill set can do here.
Okay.
You can inspire people.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a good acoustic room.
That's true. Actually, while we're all doing this, I'm going to give us all a good little motivational speech to pep us up. Because that's actually an ability I have.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
We can do this, gentlemen. Let's work together.
Yeah. Okay. So you'll kind of like take a look over these panels, and you'll recognize there seems to be what appears to be like displays of some kind. They're like gauges first. There seems to be 7 different gauges. You're fairly certain that one of them is the main gauge. Perhaps that one represents how much power output total is going, and then it represents how much power is going to each of the individual areas. You think.
Can I determine where the other areas are? Like, are they labeled?
They aren't really labeled in a way that you understand. Not easily like looking. There seems to be like designations for each of them. I'll get you that list of designations. There is. Let's see here. There's. I'll put those together so you can describe this together. Sorry, so I would be distracted.
No worries.
There are then it seems like 10 panels in this room. There are 2 that are on one of the side walls. So like if you're looking at the door that you came in through is right across from the paneling. So you like entered in, you can see the paneling to the front. The door leading into the tube is on the left side. There's 2 panels on the right wall, and then the 8 panels in the front. 6 of them you identify as probably marking off they must control power flow to each of the 6 places that's getting power. That's what they seem like. You're not exactly sure how to deal with them. Like it seems to be like in a number of dials, switches, and like a kind of weirdly symboled keypad that's very cryptic. The language does look a little familiar, like maybe during your archaeological studies you saw it before, but you do not understand this one. So it might be an ancient language.
Got it. Okay. Interesting. I'm going to note down the language because I know some old ass motherfuckers.
Yes. So you could probably inquire with him about it. Or with them about it, I should say.
Yeah, no, we thought this of the same asshole, I think.
But we also know a bunch of planeswalkers now too that might have ideas.
Yeah. I don't know if they like us very much, though.
Who knows? Anyway, 2 panels you think are directly related to this machine here. The actual cylinder machine. You're not sure what each of them does. Because there's 2 of them that seem to be... And then there's the 2 ones on that are on the other wall, which you're actually not sure what they do at all.
Mm.
It's definitely very strange. Karn, I'm just gonna roll some d20s here. Give me a second. Roll d20. I'm gonna see this. Okay. It appears that this panel seems to have a dramatic decrease in power usage in comparison to all the other ones. Suddenly. Perhaps this one here and this gauge here seems to represent the one with the demon.
The one, yes. Because it looks like it was lowered, right? Since we effectively shut that one off, yeah.
That's the symbol on it. HRPD is the designation for it.
I'm making notes of like as much of the shit as I can. Even if I can't figure it out right now, I might be able to figure it out later.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. There is a lot happening here for sure. Don't know. I don't understand all of this. This exists beyond most artificery that I've seen.
I would agree.
That's very concerning if that's beyond our scope of knowledge.
It is perhaps not completely beyond our scope, though. This technology here, at first glance, I worried that perhaps it was Phyrexian, but it is not. It is older. I believe this is a different kind of technology. One that dates back to ancient times. This appears to be Thranian. Some of it I can understand, but the language itself, I'm not 100% familiar with the language of the Thrans, and this language is slightly different. The structures of the language seem similar to what would be in Thran, but it's still different.
Well, as I said, we can ask other people who might know more about this, just so long as we have the information recorded.
True.
Those are the other abbreviations.
But
couldn't have made it easy and just write like demon room or experiment chamber or zoo. No, had to make it complicated with weird abbreviation. Huh. I wonder if he had any notebooks anywhere.
Not in this location, it seems.
Not in this location, no, but we should definitely check for passages to maybe a more private study. Also, we should loot his study more thoroughly. I think that was one of the locked doors was a study.
This man was obviously either a genius at artifice or knew where to look to manipulate it.
Or insane.
The unfortunate thing is that sometimes genius and insanity mix.
Yes. I've
Okay.
noticed this as well.
Unfortunately, without knowing the nature of the mechanism, I wouldn't want to play around with any of these settings. For of all I know, it seems as though the drop in power was not to be unexpected, I'm guessing, in the HRPD. The system seems to have compensated for it. But I don't know if the system would compensate for anything else. I'm sure if that is indeed the demon, prolonging its life may have not been a guarantee.
Perhaps not.
But I'm only guessing at this point in time.
Well, it's irrelevant now. Either way, we can't necessarily piece it together with the information we have. So we'll have to wait until we have more information. Speaking of, Claude, have you found anything cool?
Claude, you have indeed found some cool things.
Yeah. Bells.
Were you just... I do have a question. Where were you all looking? Just on the outer walls for now?
Right now, I was focusing on the outer walls.
Okay.
That makes the most sense.
I was looking wherever Metal Man was looking.
Yeah, you were basically like, he was basically like looking over some like panels and stuff and trying to analyze them, and you were probably like looking at them like, that looks like something like this, and you probably were completely wrong and stuff, but it helped him think about things, you know, that kind of stuff. You know, it's sort of like you're randomly guessing what something looks like, and it's like, oh, hey, yeah, that actually makes me think of something. Yeah, you discover that there seems to be 8 places that you think there might be passages off of here. 6 of them are unusual because they feel like there should be a door there. You can't really squeeze in there, and once you investigate very closely, there's some kind of rune written or like etched into the center of them, each of them. So 6 like runed doors, I call them.
Do I? I'm also once I find those 8 things, I'm going to use my Eldritch Sight on them as well.
Those 6 ones are certainly magical, involving some kind of transmutation magic. That is very obvious. The other, actually, all 8 of them have a transmutation magic on them. I will say that. The 6 of them are those rune ones, and then you will find that there is seemingly like a door near the top and near the bottom, around where their pipes are. These seem a little different, and you sense there's a magic on them, but there is no, like... Again, it's similar before, that, like, it feels like there should be a door there, but you can't quite squeeze in. But, like, there is no, like, runes on these.
Okay. On the 2 that there's not runes on,
Rose up again. Love that. 3 times in an hour. This is an issue.
Oh, hold on. I could not hear you for some reason.
Hey, it was 3 times in an hour so far. I'm freezing
Okay.
up.
Yeah, I know you were moving, but I couldn't hear you.
It was that freeze up for everybody else, for me, that everybody froze up, and then it fast forward through it. It's some kind of buffering, because it fast forwards. I don't understand it. And, like, just as a side note, quickly to complain, I don't get this usually during the, like, most of the day or something. You know? I don't know.
Maybe because more people are streaming at night.
It could be something with my internet. I don't know. I've got to like look into it, see if there's like what problem it could be.
So I was looking to see if on the 2, are there any kind of mechanisms?
Nothing that's visible.
Can I try a knowledge arcana?
Sure. Okay. On the 2 that are unmarked, what you're thinking of is perhaps rather than there is like necessarily a magic that's used with the door, a magic's been used on the door. Basically, somebody used some kind of transmutation to like seal it up. More than likely, whoever used this wants to make sure this thing is intact. And these doors are supposed to be opened with some kind of earth shaping or like shaping magic.
There's only one person we know can use earth shaping magic.
Maybe there's someone else that you know now that you could have met now.
Yeah.
You have an entire cast of characters that might have those abilities. But yes, you knew one person that had earth shaping magic.
And can I also try an arcana on the other ones?
Sure.
Do you want one for the rest of the 6, or do you want multiple?
They're very similar, so I'd say one for the rest of the 6. That's similar, but still different. Like, you're not sure. It seems as though that like a magic has to be used on the rune, and the rune activates more magic, you think.
Okay.
It's as if the rune... The rune is like something you would activate to like cause an effect that would it amplifies whatever effect is being put into it. More again, it must be some kind of shaping magic.
I'll relay that. This is what I found.
I don't personally know too much shaping magic. Do I? I should double check that.
That's a good question. I mean, wizards know stone shape, so.
Nah, that's 4th level. I only got 3rd level spells.
Yes, so this dude probably was using stone shape, and like he stone shaped the bottom and top doors closed, and then left enough that he could easily notice where they are, or recognize the difference. And the other ones seem to be amplifications for stone shape. What you're guessing is probably the idea of having like a corridor outside of those wires does exist, but rather than it always being there, he casts stone shape through the amplification room, and it creates the corridor. So that if you do need to access the things to repair them, he basically creates it at the time. It's an ingenious way of keeping things sealed off and still relying on your own magical powers.
So even if we would have been looking for something,
There
it would have been hard to find.
Exactly. There's a lot of stuff here that he certainly was trying to keep on the down low. And something like this, which is like a Thuranian engine of some kind. A massive Thuranian engine. Or similar technology to the Thuranian engines. Is just... It's probably something that a lot of artificers would want to get a hold of. Even
a dynamo, even?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even if this is like a recreation, it's still something incredibly powerful that he's managed to like recreate here or replicate some way.
We may need more help than what we have here to get through these.
Okay. Shit.
Unless you have any cards up your sleeve we don't know about, Karn.
My abilities pertain for many. I've been trying to understand this bit of artifice, but it feels alien in a way. I think it's because it is not one technology. I think the man who invented this combined a few different techniques and technologies. I fear that he may have used some Trexian techniques along with the Thranian design, along with more perhaps modern designs, and maybe even something else that he acquired from some of those other planes that he was searching out. Combining all of these, he invented something great, but it's a bastardization of all those technologies combined. My ability is to understand artifice on a more spiritual level, you could almost say, do not help me in this case, because there's too many components. I can tell you that, yes, this is some kind of power engine. I do not know the reaction that's going on inside each of these cells. But it seems that each of them is creating some form of reaction. 10 of them stacked together to create massive amounts of power.
I actually meant more if you had anything up your sleeves for opening these doors. But that was very interesting.
Yes, informative.
My magics and abilities are not pertained usually to things like manipulation of Earth. That is young Nisa's place, if we were to look at any. Her shamanic and druidic magics might be the case of needed here.
So we might need to go to the surface again and bring people back in again.
We need to go to the surface anyway. There's not much
what
more we can do.
exactly is stopping us from brute forcing these doors? Surely we don't care about...
They're solid stone. He shaped the stone. There is no passage beyond it.
The top and, as you said, the top and bottom ones might have passages beyond them. They're different.
I mean, we could try to brute our way through those.
But those are most likely more maintenance for this thing here, I would guess, rather than maintenance leading into each of the locations. That
most likely
would be a little different.
Well, like I said, we can't do much down here anyway without more information. I say we go back up to the surface, consolidate what we've learned and what the others have figured out about what other bullshit is going on in the house. Maybe they found some of the secret passages in their investigation of the gate and the gate area.
The man must have some form of submersible, I would think, from what I saw upstairs. I'm not too knowledgeable on them. But similar to, I have a basic understanding of airships, boats, and like, I understand the basics of them. That must mean he must have some kind of place that it goes under the water. Perhaps, Claude, you could search around outside under the docks. More than likely,
I was gonna say under the boathouse might.
It would make it more convenient to bring others down here. We are the ones that could probably easiest go up and down. As much as I believe young Nisa could use some of her magics to allow herself to travel through the water, I would rather her save her abilities because we don't know how much of it we would need in this case. So perhaps finding the submersible would be convenient.
I can see what I can find.
Let's get out first.
Agreed.
Alright, So you're gonna leave, go back to the boat?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. And of course, you'll lead Karn to the anchor chain. He'll climb his way up. That's easiest way for a big old metal man to climb up to a boat.
Yeah, I could cast levitate on him too if we wanted to just speed things along, but that's a spell slot.
Yeah. And the rest of you you'll manage to all get back up to the schooner. Raise the anchor, and I guess head back to dock. Where Joyro will be there, be like, how'd things go? Discover anything? The rest are inside discussing what to do with some of the other material, and I was not very interested in it. I think I think the local golem friend is hanging around with them.
Alatar?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I might head over that way anyway. We found some things, but none of it currently very actionable without information that we don't have yet. You might know. Do you understand this language? And I'll show the copy of the writing that I've made.
Ooh. This, seems familiar, but, I'm not sure.
No worries. I will, next time I'm at the college, check in with the other immortal.
He might know, but I don't know if he'll say for sure.
Well, if he doesn't say for sure, and he knows, then he's going to have to grade all these papers on his own. And then Kaz will walk back into the house.
I'm gonna go and check under the docks, I guess. Since I'm already out here.
Okay. Alright, give me a perception check. It's gonna be a while, but you can do it.
I'm very good at. Holy crap!
Alright.
Jeez.
It won't take you long, but eventually you'll discover that deep under the docks, because like the cliff still drops off where you're at here, this part of the island, so it drops off about another 50 feet. So your docks kind of like are right above that water, you know, kind of like the long pylons going down. It has actually your dock actually, not noticeably, it has like a stone pylons that kind of come all the way up here from the ocean bed. So there were like columns that were like really nicely shaped at one point in time, but you're kind of like looking along the wall, and you will actually find what looks to be a cave entrance. You kind of following the cave back, it'll go for about 30 feet, and then there will be a set of metal doors.
Does there look like there's any kind of mechanism or anything?
There does.
What does it look like?
Big old lever?
I'll give it a try.
Alright. The doors will open inward, revealing more passage beyond.
I'll swim in.
Okay. You'll come into like an open cavern area. What looks to be a number of docks here, with what looks to be 3 submersibles.
Oh God, Kaz is going to have.
Now these are all smaller than the ones you had before, that you were in before. They're about half the size each. One of them seems to be in horrible amounts of disrepair. Maybe it was being constructed or repaired or something. One of them seems to be like the prime operator. And one of them, it seems to be like, it's got some kind of strange devices on it.
Maybe some kind of specialty one.
Yeah. The 2 that are in good shape have some kind of like large, what kind of material? It'd be like like metalled tubing kind of attached to them, coming from like this other device towards the back, with a third possible one that's kind of lying around that looks like maybe goes to the one that's being under repair. There seems to be some kind of small like workshop here for working on those, and a set of stairs which leads up to a door out of this area. There also seems to be a number of crates and barrels and kind of like boxes of things. It looks like most of these things have room for one passenger and storage. If you didn't have any storage, you could maybe fit like 3 people on one of these things.
Okay. I'm going to try the stairs.
All right. They'll head up the stairs to the door. It's just a wooden door.
Is this team locked or anything?
Nope.
I'll open the door.
Okay. This room is filled with maps.
Okay.
I mean, not just any maps. There's all kinds of maps.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Yeah.
I found a map room.
Yeah, an extensive one. You've probably never seen an extensive map room like this, period. And
Is this room actually dry?
Yes. Like, as I said, it's an open cavern, so you're, like, walked out into the air. Yeah, you went out.
Okay, I just wanted to... I'm sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. When you got to the submersibles, they were at, like, the surface, and you got into the cavern. Sorry.
Okay, so that was in dry dock. Okay, yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, two were in, like, the dry dock, and one of them was under repair and had docking for it.
Gotcha.
Or was being, again, repair or constructed, not sure. There's something recognizable here, too. There seems to be maps, extensive ones, of Rath.
Okay, I am making some notes on this.
It also seemed to be noting places where there was overlay points between Rath and Dominaria. It specifically mentions notes of... it seems to be like, you can easily tell whoever is here was looking for stuff that had been on Rath.
Not completely surprising.
Rath was also a source of Phyrexian technology, and it was probably the least damaged. When the overlay happened, things literally overlaid on top of each other and merged.
Yeah. Is there any exit?
Yes.
Other than... okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just a door, or...
It's another door in the back of the area.
Okay, does it seem unlocked?
Yeah.
Eldritch Sight, also, just in case, is there any magic on this door?
Nope.
Any magic in this room, even?
Yeah, there is magic. There seems to be 2 magical items. One seems to be an astrolabe. That's magical. And one seems to be some kind of strange, maybe crystal ball. Both have divination abilities.
Grab both of those for now.
Okay.
And, I will open the door.
It's a short hallway with 4 doors, and what looks to be like a metal portcullis to just a chamber at the back. That seems closed. You can't really see anything but beyond the portcullis. Like, it just seems empty, is what I mean.
Okay. I will check the rooms first.
Okay. There are 2 small bedrooms here. Obvious for anybody that's down here working and they want to get a nap. They can. Nothing personal in either of those. One of the rooms seems to be a small, maybe, like, living quarters. You know, like, so it's a combination of, like, it's got, like, a small area to, like, cook with, a small area to dine at. It's got, like, a small, bookshelf covered in books that seem to do with nautical, and a couple books that actually seem to deal with, probably repair and use of submarines. Those books are probably incredibly rare and probably very expensive, as submarines are very, very rare.
Anything magical in the bookshelf?
No.
Okay.
The fourth door is locked.
Okay. Seems like a regular type of lock.
No, it seems like the magical kind of locks you encountered before.
Well, I will try and pick it.
Okay.
And see what I can do.
Mm-hmm. No, unfortunately, it does
That's
not.
a horrible roll.
Nope.
That was a horrible roll.
Yep.
I rolled a 6. I'm gonna give it some thought and come back to that.
Okay.
I'm gonna check out the portcullis.
All right.
Is it? I'm assuming the portcullis is down, right?
It's down. There seems to be some kind of like wheel next to it that could be spinned to open it up.
We'll try it.
Sure. It spins up. It raises. It's got pretty good leverage, so, it's pretty easy to. Doesn't take a lot of muscle to get it up.
Okay. I'm gonna check the wall. You said there's just look like an empty space behind it.
It just looks like an empty, maybe, chamber of some kind.
I'm gonna look around and see if there's any, like, hidden exit.
Inside, you will notice that there is some strange things that are going on with it. The fact is, there is another set of that, wheel. That, is like, would close the portcullis. There's also what looks to be like a weird, lever here.
Okay, cross my fingers. I'm gonna close the portcullis from the inside then.
Mm-hmm.
And then try the lever.
Okay.
It's the last anyone ever saw of him.
All right. Close the portcullis. Try the lever. All of a sudden, like, the portcullis sinks into the ground. Like the entire wall, like, sinks and disappears.
Does it feel like I'm moving at all?
No.
I'll look up.
You see no sign of movements. You're just in a closed-off chamber now.
Okay, this is odd.
A little while later, all of a sudden, a portcullis appears behind you from the ground.
Okay. Is there a wheel?
Yes?
I'll open it up.
Okay.
And step through.
Alright. You're in a small room area where there's just a wall there. It's just like a small hallway that's maybe 10 foot long.
Doors.
You don't see anything directly?
Eldritch sighting.
Nothing magical.
Okay, I guess I'll look around. Do you want a perception or investigation?
You can do either in this case. Both are fine.
Perception it is then.
Yeah, you actually notice there seems to be, like an area that, like, a stone panel that slides off on the one wall.
I'll move it.
Mm-hmm. There is, like, a large lever here.
Looking away and going.
It's like a two-handed thing that you, like, drop.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Claud. I'm gonna shift ping where you are on the map. Boop.
I gotta move my sheet. Where am I now?
Sorry.
Oh.
Down there.
In D.
Or next
Next
to
to
D.
D.
Yep.
Next to D.
Sorry, I'm putting, like, the doors and
Okay.
stuff here. I was drawing it on your map. Because you found B10.
Wow.
B10.
Yup. It was an area you did not
You
know
sunk my
about.
battleship.
There you go. I can go back to Object Tokens Layer. Hey, there's a map. Are we frozen up again?
Nope.
No.
Okay, I was worried for a second. Mm-hmm.
And which room am I exactly in at the moment?
Down there. No, you're not in B10. You're in.
Oh.
You're in B3.
Shrink.
Where you're where you've been pinged a couple of times. It's pinged again.
Oh, why am I?
You're way over there.
I moved. I messed up. Hold on.
Yeah.
Too many. Ooh, there. Oh, up here. On this side or on the other side of the door?
Oh, you're on that side of the door. Your perfect spot.
Okay. Yay. Okay. Now I can see myself. Is there a door in front of me?
You just opened it up.
Oh, that was the thing. Okay, so I can.
Yeah, you're back in the hall. This looks familiar.
Anyone down here?
There you go, and I even marked on this B10 quickly what everything is.
Okay.
But yeah, you discovered a new basement floor where the subroom was.
This will never come back to bite us.
Mm-hmm. It seems surprisingly close to E.
I forget. Oh shit.
Mm.
He's the man's room,
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah.
I'm like, I forget what he is. I'm like, oh yeah, it's probably him.
It's him. Anyway, before you go find everybody, why don't we take our break here? Because I'm a little later than I wanted, but I liked exploring the subroom and the area that was down there.
And I'm carrying 2 items with me.
You are carrying 2 items with you. 2 magic items that you acquired down there that are probably nautical themed and helpful for any kind of nautical based exploration or traveling. But if you need a drink, snack, bathroom break, go ahead and take care of any of those, and we'll be back in a little bit here.
But I figured, Lee, you'd appreciate that one.
I'm a big fan of SNES games.
Anyway, so hello everybody, we've returned. So Claude has found himself deep within your basement. Let me go over here. I can throw up the map for now. Will that work? It works, and I can show off B10 right there. There's B10, and Claude is right over here, pinged on the map. Yep, cool. So yeah, here was the sub room, the stairs, the map room, the 2 corridors, the living area, the locked room, and the weird elevator-y thing, which was sort of elevator-y. Alright, there
You're
you go.
gonna unlock that door, aren't you?
No.
Mm.
Not at the moment. I can't.
It's got the magical lock that needs some Kaz help to get through.
So in your time of need, well, fuck, you could just drink my goddamn blood, couldn't you?
Well, I mean, that doesn't give you, like...
We
your
might
magic.
need to dispel it.
Yeah. You might have to... It's like, you know...
I mean, I might be able to try it again later and see if I can get a high enough lockpick check. Because I do get plus 13. I just rolled a freaking 6.
Mm-hmm.
In your hour of need, you come to me.
I guess, so Claude will come up from the basement
Yes.
and find everybody. Probably in the dining room. They're finishing some discussions on stuff. I assumed, Carrie, I assumed you were looking around for secret rooms.
I was going to say, do we
Roll
want
me
to carry?
an investigation then first. Let me just check some things because I have to remember where I put all these.
Can somewhat do that sometimes.
Sure.
That's not bad.
Okay, 17, not bad. Okay. Let me see what you would discover then. Let me just take a look at which things there would be.
Take a look. It's in a book.
So,
Reading Rainbow.
Pink rainbow.
yeah. One thing that you will find, let me move everybody here. Up on the 3rd floor, in this kind of arboretum area, you will find something over in the corner here. While looking around, you will find, like, some kind of, like, weird, crank that you hadn't noticed before, because it was behind some plants. Using the crank, it will extend a ladder from next to you, from above, down.
If you think I have the impulse control to not immediately go on this ladder, you don't know me at all.
Mm.
I respect that.
I'm just
It's not just Carrie. Mads also has 0 impulse control.
I respect it,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, come on.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
I'll probably turn into a demon before that.
Other people's
Right.
death.
I didn't say your death. Yeah.
Here's that.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I'm climbing this ladder.
Okay. This is weird. You'll climb the ladder, and you'll climb it some more, and you'll climb it some more, and you're pretty sure you're outside the roof, and you're still climbing it.
Outside of the entire building? Or, like, it's
Yeah.
just, it feels like I've climbed outside of the building.
You should be taller than the roof was.
I mean, have I gotten anywhere? Is this just like one of those joke ladders that, like, you think
You're
that you're
in
moving
like
and
you're in
not?
like a stone tunnel. It looks like almost.
It's the freaking Metal Gear 3 ladder.
This is a Metal Gear 3 ladder a little bit.
Never ending ladder.
What a thrill! Carry the Snake Eater.
No, I need a snake. You don't know me. You don't know my life.
Finally, a weapon to surpass Metal Gear. Carrion.
Oh.
Listen, I'm just gonna keep trying to climb this ladder, and if, like, I don't go anywhere in, like, 20 minutes, then it's probably a joke, and I'm mad at the whole entire house, and I'm gonna burn it down.
Like 10 minutes later, very high up, you will come across a hatch above you. You will have noticed it a while ahead of time. Like, you're in, like, a stone tunnel that just keeps going up like this.
Is the hatch locked?
Nope.
Then I go.
Okay.
With not a care in the world.
Alright, this is really weird. You are in what appears to be a glass dome in the sky with grass flooring and what looks to be like a massive strange device in the middle that you're
Poke it.
make a intelligence check.
I'm sorry, that's my first reaction at this point.
Sure. Just straight intelligence, because I have no idea what skill would apply here on this one. It's a thing. You can poke it.
Cool.
There seems to be a number of, like, wheels which turn it and turn parts of it. You'll play around with it while... No. No, not a sundial. There is a door on one side of this dome which leads out to what looks to be a small balcony of some kind. But otherwise, there's this strange device in the center of this room where you're pretty high up. You've been climbing for like 10 minutes on a ladder. You're surprisingly high up, and this is really weird.
I mean, if I look down, what do I see? Because it's a glass dome, right?
Well, there's a floor, actually, with grass.
Well, I mean, can't I go to the edge of the dome and look down?
You can do that. You see the house way down there.
Ah, cool. Do I see a ladder going down to the house?
Actually, you don't.
I feel like I should have run into a big old stone tube if I was flying around the house, but that's fine.
Unless there's a certain type of magic on this entire thing that the other people encountered. We froze up. I don't know if people are hearing me. And do you hear me when I'm like this? In
Oh, I did.
Oh, I froze. I froze up. I'm just wondering if people hear me like on stream when that happens.
I know we hear you. I have no idea if stream.
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, so you still hear me the entire time? I'm just frozen up. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yes, you can see the house down below, and there perhaps is some kind of magic on it that makes people kind of ignore the entire thing and makes it pretty much invisible to them. Cough, cough.
Cool. I'm gonna mess with the device for like 20 minutes, see if I can figure it out, and if I can't, I'm just gonna go to the balcony.
Why don't you roll an investigation check on it then?
Okay.
I'll give you that much. Alright. Messing around with it for a little while, eventually you discover what its purpose is. It's an observatory.
Okay, I gotta put it this way. I've managed to find one of the non-dangerous rooms. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
For your track record, yes, that isn't the worst.
Let me also put it this way. There aren't many things like this in the entire world. Because of a lot of the strange things and magical energies and stuff that happens, investigating space tends to be one of those things that not very many people get into at all. I mean, there's knowledge that other planes exist, though travel between them is, like, impossible unless you're, like, an invading fleet that, like, merged your land with another demi-plane. That, tells you something about, like, people's priorities a lot of time. So this is actually something that's probably fairly rare. And it seems to be a really nice observatory.
And it's space. Space is cool.
Yeah. So
it's the final frontier.
Mm-hmm.
It's the final countdown.
It's the final punch a changeling in the face so hard it turns solid.
Ow! Don't hit the changeling in this game!
The changeling's the only one who's not done anything, good or bad. Why would I punch the changeling?
Unlocked all the doors and woke up the man in the basement.
To be fair, if Claude hadn't done it, Carrie or Kaz would have.
Carrie wouldn't have, because Carrie can't pick locks.
I can punch doors open. That's worse.
I don't think you can punch magically sealed doors open.
Someone probably could have. Some probably could have. They're only magically
locked.
I
have to spell magic.
Yeah. Anyway,
or detect magic. You
will find there is a small area that seems to have some notes in here. Also, you will discover while you're looking around at this observatory. Quickly looking over the notes, you can tell that it seems as though the person here was making observations of the moons. That specifically seems to be what they were focused on. In particular,
I guess I'll take
in particular the null moon.
I guess I'll take the notes because I'm not very space inclined, but maybe someone down there is. And you said there's a balcony, right?
Yeah, there's a balcony that you can go out to.
Is there anything on the balcony, or is it just a balcony?
It's just like a small, like, observatory balcony. Seems like if you want to step out and enjoy the air and stuff, you can.
Or, like me, you want to step out, get your wings out, and just fly down, because no way in hell I'm climbing back down that ladder.
Yeah, it's weird as soon as you, like, leave. It's so hard to focus on that place. It's almost as if like, just tries not to be in your mind. But you can show up with everybody else then, when they return, having discovered an observatory. Yeah, you found nothing on the first, second... This is what you found on the third floor. The first and second floors, you found nothing. At least your investigation wielded nothing, I will say. Whether or not there's anything else there, you don't know. You didn't find anything else.
Yeah, to be fair, that was a pretty bad roll for me, considering. So.
Yeah. This was the easy thing to find, apparently, on the third floor, though. And
yay!
I didn't have you go to any of the basements yet, so...
I would not go to the basements because I'm pretty sure Kaz would kill me.
There's probably pretty bad things. I mean, there's still the chamber full of severed heads in preserved jars. I mean...
Please don't go in the severed head room. I think some of them might still be alive.
They probably are.
I could probably talk to some severed heads. That's kind of cool.
Oh, God. All I'm picturing now is the movie Eight Heads in a Duffel Bag, when they sing Mr. Sandman.
What are you talking about?
There was a movie called Eight Heads in a Duffel Bag.
I've gathered.
And at one point, the guy who's carrying them...
Oh, so it's literal.
Yeah. He has them displayed in the room because he emptied the bags. And he's like, what the hell is this? And he wakes up and they're singing Mr. Sandman to him.
It's the entire idea that the storyline is someone ends up with this duffel bag full of heads by accident, and it wasn't because probably like a killer had them before, and
I think it was like a mob hit.
Yeah, and so he's got to do something with it, but also like maybe he can't announce things because he knows like the person that had it might come after him or something like that. I don't know. It's weird. It's movies.
I haven't seen it in a while.
I can't remember the exact story.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I knew about it.
It's in the 90s.
It's 90s. Yeah. Anyway, so you can reassemble. Everybody's back. Except for Claude. Claude's not back yet. But you can you can come across Kaz and Maxwell coming up from the dock area.
Kaz, you will be excited to know that I did not cause any destruction, despite the fact that I did have poor impulse control.
Okay.
I found an observatory. That's what I did.
All right. Progress, I suppose.
I didn't go talk to the evil man. I did not go talk to the severed heads. I just want you to be proud of me.
All right. No, yes, there was the one room in the basement that has all the severed heads. I am proud of you for not going and talking to the man that we've all decided it would be a bad idea to talk to. Thank you for not talking to him.
Then Carrie just wants some approval here.
Good job.
I clap for her, but I think she wouldn't like it.
No, I'd punch you in the bones. I'm also going to hand the notes off to Cass, the notes about the moons.
Why is she still mad at me?
It's the removal of autonomy thing.
You took over her autonomy! She's not going to forgive that very easily.
Turned
me into a dog and removed my memories.
Yeah, at least you didn't die, like I did.
That is a low bar.
You died a long time ago. That wasn't on us.
Yeah.
You're fine now. You got better.
You know, your soul's just trapped in a tongue, that's all.
Oh, you know, the usual.
Maybe that's where the soul is in everyone. Souls are stored in the tongue.
So if someone cuts your tongue out, they steal your soul?
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah, it seems as though that, if you just want to quickly look over those notes, I'll say it's very obvious that the person was observing both moons, but particularly the null moon, or the glimmer moon, as you want to call it. He refers to it definitely as the null moon.
Is that the one that's the font of white mana?
It's the one that's artificial.
Oh, it's the fake moon.
Yeah, it's the one that's Thran technology.
It's fake, like our own moon.
Exactly.
Made out of cheese.
Mm-hmm.
They actually made a styrofoam and government propaganda. It's up there to hide the alien tide controlling machines.
Exactly. It's up to control to hide Cobra's weather dominator. That's why I keep That's why I keep my anti-weather dominator technology handy at all times.
Great. Could you make that work here so we stop getting rained on? That'd be
no. I like rain.
Our windows suck, so please. That's besides the point.
Uh-huh.
Well, we have our own notes to have note of. I can't understand any of it. I might go take it to that professor who never answers any questions and threaten to stop grading his papers for him if he doesn't answer these questions.
On your logic, couldn't he just get someone else to grade the papers?
Yes, but he doesn't like many people.
I don't think he likes you, from what I've heard.
He tolerates me more than others. It's like a weird bar. But I'm at least good at what I do. And I think most other people don't want to be his assistant. However, I just want to see if he can understand and translate the information. That would be nice. Is he going to? Maybe not. He's like that. But I'll do that later. But now we should meet up with the people walking around our house. And see if they figured out any other new information.
The people that are about your house, you're gonna check in with them. Okay.
Yeah.
So, they've been just discussing the current discussion seems to be there's two issues that they feel like they should resolve currently. They're still worried about your planar portal and its nature. And they're, of course, worried about the man who is down in the basement and discussing what to do about that person. Because there does seem to be this entire thing of, discussion about, the fact is, as horrible as he does seem to be, he doesn't seem to have done anything that particularly could be referred to as abysmal overall. In comparison to a lot of people you probably could have met or that they've met, he's actually kind of tame. He's experimented with a lot of terrible things. He also has a room full of severed heads that seem to be his enemies. But majority of them seem to be really not great people anyway. So it's sort of like a bad person killing bad people and keeping their heads on display. Kind of makes it seem like he's not been doing, the worst things in the world. He's still pretty awful, but just outright killing him is kind of one of those things that there's, a talk that's really hard for them to, get behind.
Okay, I'm sorry that you've met worse people in your travels than this man living in our basement who wants to treat us all as his servants. But he's living in our basement, and that's an issue for us. And also, probably the world at large. He has a lot of, Phyrexian technology in his body.
I think the best bet is figuring out some way of imprisoning him. This is Jace. As much as it'd probably be easiest just to eliminate him, I'd rather not if we have an option. If there is no other option, I would support that.
Okay. Also, I want to again reiterate, he did find a way to make this gate work. And based on what you've said, out loud, while we're around, not very quietly, he's managed to pull things out of places that things shouldn't be able to be pulled out of. Dangerous things. I don't know why it's dangerous to have a weird blue mummy zombie. But that's apparently a threat, and he can just do that.
To keep a long story short, obviously you're dealing with a lot of unusual planar stuff here. Which means that you were definitely called upon experts like those of Joyra and the crew, which called upon us. We're experts in planar things. I take it you've assumed that's why we're here, right?
I imagine so. I believe we're all on that same page, yes?
Right. Okay. That blue creature was part of a very powerful army that was once used to threaten the multiverse. And I mean the multiverse, every plane. Granted,
okay.
The person that was behind it, the thing that was behind it, has been defeated, has been killed off. But the location where he kept his army is something that this portal should have access to. A place that is, in all intents and purposes, a sealed plane.
Yet this man, Dolmar Duel, he just figured out a way to get in.
The technology here is obviously a different kind of planar travel than any of us are familiar with.
Well, I suppose I apologize for being very cavalier about this. Again, it's our house and we're tired of it, but it is our house. But if you would like to interview him and ask him questions, I just ask that you do it carefully.
I remembered something that Maxwell probably knows. I don't remember if Lee remembers.
What?
Do you remember
when was this?
What Nim said to you when he said goodbye? Remember he told you a bunch of stuff?
I don't know if I wrote that down in the notes.
Okay.
I don't think I remember this. I don't think I wrote it down either.
Oh,
well, actually, wait. Is it the secret thing?
He said a bunch of secrety stuff to you, yes. He entrusted you with knowledge. This knowledge might come in handy for you to basically, maybe if you wanted to, blurt out something now. But that'd be up to you.
Can you spell it out for me? Because I'm, like, completely spacing out.
Nim basically told you he was a planeswalker. You've got a bunch of planeswalkers here. You know of their existence. You could probably guess that people that have planar expertise, when there should not be any, are people like Nim, who have a unique ability to basically dimensional travel.
Do I dox Nim or just, like...
Up to you what you want to say. If you want to say anything, if you don't want to say anything.
I'm gonna stay silent.
Okay. I wanted to check in with you about that because I do know you would know that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be a good friend and not say anything about that, because that's what Nim told me.
So you're probably, like, if you wanted to approach these people on your own, you probably are guessing that that's what they are, similar to Nim, that they have similar abilities.
Okay. Good to know. Thank you for that.
Yes. The fact is that destroying that gate could be possible, but I'm unsure, none of us are sure what the repercussions would be. Because we do not know the nature of it 100%, because it's of a different magical nature than any of us have ever encountered. I think anybody has necessarily encountered. It means as though we don't know what would happen if we destroyed it. For all we know, it could create some form of planar rift, which would be bad. We don't want it. Dominaria has share of troubles. You don't want to cause it any more issues. Now, leaving it be. Well, to be honest, I'm not sure if it could be activated from another side. Even if it can't be, it's built into your house, and without taking your house down and figuring out a way to transport it like the man did, again, that'd be avoiding damaging it. And unless you want your house sealed off, which I don't think you do from your words, we gotta leave it there. That leaves the problem of someone else accidentally figuring out how to use it. Okay. Now, we have a source of information. A man who does know how to use it, who knows how it works, and maybe even knows how to transport it. Would he be willing to talk? Maybe not. But perhaps imprisonment could give him some ideas about becoming more helpful. Maybe we could figure out ways to disable some of the abilities he's built into himself, too.
None of you know how to resurrect people, do you?
None of us are specialized in that kind of thing.
Okay.
Johnny's going to kind of speak in. Resurrecting the dead tends to be very difficult, even on the best of times. Even the most powerful of us that powerful spellcasters who learn things still have to deal with the fact that the nature of our realms means that any period of time can result in the spirit changing very much. Only specific cases have we seen any form of true resurrection. Short-term magics, which exist, are very successful. Occasional very powerful magics that cost a lot can do it too. And certain undead that are creative have echoes of the soul, like your friend there. Everyone else just dies.
Alright, well, never mind then. The one thing the man in our basement wants more than anything is for his wife to be alive again. She's dead and in stasis, also in the basement.
If, Tefri's gonna speak up. Unfortunately, I understand basic stasis magic to preserve a body. That's simple. It may have left her in a state similar to how she was when she died, but I have very high doubts that her spirit remains in any way easily to contact at this point in time. And the amount of white mana that would require for a resurrection like that is pretty powerful. Not impossible, but usually it requires... Most of the time, resurrections have been successful. It requires that mass amount of white mana, and it also requires some connection to the person. Sounds like this spellcaster wasn't able to use white mana, or wasn't his specialty. And this region isn't known for it.
No, in fact, actually, we have a big pit of black mana instead, courtesy of Carrion.
Claud shows up.
Hi.
That's not the direction of the docks.
I found some submersibles and an entrance from our sub basement.
All right.
I also found these.
What are you holding up?
Strange crystal ball and an astrolabe.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're
Okay.
magical.
Do you know
There's
what they do?
also what type of magics are on them? I know
Both have
that's
divination.
Okay. Some kind of divination on both of these. Also, there's a library on the submersibles. 2 seem to be usable. 1 seems to be in very bad disrepair.
Well, give me 20 minutes with the 2 weird objects. I'll have them figured out.
Jace is gonna kind of get up. Karn's been helping you out with looking into all this technology. He should stay on it. But Karn, if you can have us some ideas about how to perhaps disable his Phyrexian technology that he's integrated himself without killing him. He doesn't seem completed from the discussions that are at hand, meaning that he's probably not used oil directly. He's probably used mechanical components. We would like for him probably to be weakened and maybe help for imprisonment. I shall look into it. If he is savable in that way, I can see. The rest of us, I think a few of us should go to the college and see if they have anything that they can use to seal this man away or imprison this man. Nisa, we might need your assistant if you could stay here. She's like, fine, I'll stick around.
Wait. All right.
Alright, you will look at both these items.
Yep, ritual casting identified.
Sure. The crystal ball item actually seems to be something that might attach to a submersible or could be held by a person. What it does is it seems to record terrain. Like if you were flying or swimming over a terrain, it can record it and show it back to you, magically. If you were mapping out perhaps a seafloor or searching for something on the seafloor, it'd probably be very helpful. Or even on land. If you wanted to map out a terrain on land, it's a mapping tool.
Mm-hmm.
The astrolabe is a navigation tool. It would give you effectively magically advantage to navigating. Fairly straightforward, cut dry on that one.
Useful.
Yeah.
Very useful. How much would these weigh in total?
One's an astrolabe. Not a lot. Maybe like a pound, I think. The crystal ball, probably I'd say 3 or 4 pounds. We'll say 3 pounds.
Cool. I'm putting those in the bag of holding. They're mine now.
Yeah. The astrolabe is it's more than your average astrolabe. It's this complex, very really looks neat, fancy astrolabe, that you can look through and it magically enhances your ability to use it, and tech stuff. And the other thing is this weird crystal thing with almost handles that you could hold it if you're flying above something or attach it to the bottom of some kind of ship to use it. You think? Yeah.
And I will.
Because you might need to look into what's on the bottom of a seafloor at some point in time, or if you had one carried to fly over some land, you could scout out a land with that without having to actually go close to the area.
Mm-hmm.
Very useful in both ways.
You think the device could have effectively scanned a square mile of space before you'd have to cut it out,
Well, these are both useful and will be useful to me in the future. So I'm holding on to them.
Okay.
I can also show you a library and where the submersibles are. There seem to be books on how to fix and possibly use the submersibles.
Would also like those.
He'll take you down to the B10.
I will also, as we're walking, just a warning, it's right next to his room.
Of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah. He'll take you down to the basement levels. I'll switch us back to the basement levels on the map. Of course, the strange elevator down, where the thing just seems to disappear. The portcullis, and then you just don't seem like you're moving, and then you appear at another spot all of a sudden.
I'm also going to use my Eldritch Sight on this thing.
You're getting the transmuted to the hell.
We're going to hell?
Yeah.
No. It has a lot of
know.
transmutation.
I know.
I'm
making a joke.
Yeah, it's effectively it's like a bubble that's almost being stone shaped up and down.
He liked stone shaped, didn't he?
How better to create a powerful castle and massive underground chambers than to create it yourself without having to use digging tools?
To be fair, it's kind of smart. Just use
That
stone shape.
explains the zoo.
Yeah, you can just carve it out yourself and you don't need a lot of workers, and why people probably didn't know a lot about what was going on here. He did it himself.
Except Joda, apparently.
He asked Joda's help in designing the systems which maintained it. And Joda doesn't say anything to anybody unless he needs to. So Joda's the perfect person to ask for help.
That prick.
And Kaz, as we're riding out of the elevator, do you have a dispel ready?
Why?
There's the locked room. Magically locked room.
We're not all in that elevator, are we?
Unless you want to
Could
be.
be.
I mean, you could come if you want.
You want to go check out submarines?
Yeah, I got nothing else going on.
Gary's like, I don't know about water.
Check out Marines. I'm just not going inside of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're coming with us at least.
Yeah, I'm coming
Yay.
with.
Mhm.
If you need firepower, here I am. I'm just not getting in that damn ship. You ain't getting me in that ship.
We'll just knock you out and put you in it.
Did any of the multi-dimensional boys come with us?
Karn will probably be discussing with Nisa what might could be done in the other chamber if they were going to check it out. So they're going to be staying upstairs. But Karn will say that if the submarines are operable, that would be a good way to transport a few extras of us to the chamber. Find out if they are working. I'm sure that you have the enough expertise. He'll actually inquire. Other than the books that are down there, do you have any experience with submersibles?
Yes.
Excellent. Then, if you need any additional expertise, come back and get me.
Good. Excellent. Great. Okay. None of the others are going to come join us?
The rest of them were heading to the college to discuss maybe some kind of holding cell, designing that, creating that for your man in the basement, who you'd have to get out of where he's at and put it in there. But their idea first is to see if it's physically possible to capture him alive.
They can have fun with that. We're going to go dick around with shit underwater.
Yeah. You already kind of put your hands off on that one anyway.
I mean, I'm willing to help them beat the shit out of them if that's what we need. I don't know what to do otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you find yourself in that small hallway. There's like glowing magical lights down here. I'll let you know that. I didn't say that. Yeah. So there is light sources down here. Similar to probably ever-burning torch or ever-burning spells, except they're put in like glass, so they're just glowing glasses.
I'll open the portcullis.
Yeah.
That is the locked room. These are bedrooms. And that is the multi-purpose room at the library.
Mm-hmm.
I really am curious what's behind door number 3.
Mm-hmm.
It is magically locked.
I see.
Magically locked, you say?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Are we in front of that door or no?
Sure.
You're in the hallway there.
You're right here. Shift pinged on the map. I'll shift ping you. Woo!
My hand glows,
Uh-huh.
and I cast Dispel Magic.
Please. Roll a d20.
Higher than 4th level.
Well, no, roll a charisma check. I'm sorry. Roll a charisma check.
So click charisma on your character sheet.
Yeah, just
I
click
will do
charisma. Yeah.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah, the magic goes away.
I will not be held responsible.
Mm-hmm.
Neither will I. I just kind of helped.
No, you are now culpable.
Oh, but Claude wanted me to do this, didn't
Yes,
he?
but you did it. See, this is why I wasn't
It will
doing
open up.
anything.
The door will unlock. All
I'm
right.
standing back here with Carrie and ready to save your asses.
All right.
Claude, since you really wanted this open, I'll let you go in. I'll stand at the door frame.
I'm just gonna... Actually, I'm gonna stealthily open the door just in case.
Okay.
And I'm keeping my Eldritch Sight up just to see if there's anything, like, magical about to happen.
Okay.
So there's my stealth. Open the door.
You stealthily open the door. Oh, wrong section. That's why I'm not finding it. Alright, inside is a small chamber. There are a couple noticeable things. There seems to be, 2 sets of strange-looking armor. Down here. Like, it's very thick armor, too. Like, much bigger than your average person would need. It doesn't look like very form-fitting, indeed. There's a rack of strange, weapons here. And there also seems to be 2 large cylindrical objects.
Anything magical?
Yeah, all of it is in here.
Okay. Anything that we recognize from, like, traveling around Slimpoda? Because there were, like, breathing apparatuses and stuff down there?
Yes.
I'm thinking these are diving suits in real life.
I say they are some kind of, like, diving suit with magic on them. There seems to be a number of enchantments, including transmutation, abjuration, and such built into the armor. So it's some kind of weird diving suit. The weapons have an evocation aura to them. The circular tubes also have evocation on them.
I will mention this to Kaz. This is all magical. These are what they kind of magics are on them. I'm thinking maybe this diving suits might be useful for doing submersible repair on the outside.
I'm wondering why he locked the door in an already secret area.
Paranoia?
Yeah, I mean, his servants did end up looting the place completely once he went missing.
Didn't loot down here, though.
No,
You had to use a magical secret entrance to get down here underwater.
But there is an entrance in the house. We just couldn't see it. Maybe he was afraid one of them... Also, there probably were actually other workers. Maybe he wanted to keep close rein on this equipment.
See, there were 2 magic items that you found down here, though.
True.
So it likely wasn't looted.
I don't know what the thoughts in that man's head were. Do you want to check out what these items are?
Bring them out here.
I will tell you, the metal cylinders are approximately 5 feet tall and 2 foot wide. 2 foot radius.
Those might be an issue of bringing them to you.
Try.
So,
I don't want to step inside this room.
Okay. If you want him to bring you stuff, I can identify what things are. Yes, they're indeed a diving suit. They have a permanent water breathing spell, or effectively what would be water breathing. It refreshes the air in there. You know, so it's got a magic keeps you oxygenated kind of thing on it. It's got magical reinforcements, probably to make it resistant to pressure. Abjuration spells on it, so it can go pretty deep.
Carrie, can you help me with these large cylinders? I don't think I'm going to move them.
The weapons are effectively some kind of spear gun that uses like a... It's kind of like a, it's got like a... It's not like a propulsion, like, shoot. It's like a, band, crossbow kind of mechanism to fire it out. But it makes this whatever fires out electrical, so it's like lightning spears.
Electrical underwater?
You also, the armor is resistant to electric.
Good, it better be.
Yeah. So you use electrical things, which is underwater, in a suit that makes you pretty much immune to electricity.
I will take the weird electric crossbow, and I will put it in my bag.
It seemingly could fire above water, but it probably has a lot less range than it does in water. I will tell you that.
It's still going in my bag.
Okay. The cylinders. The cylinders seem to be some kind of containment. They're holding something inside.
See, this is why I didn't want to go in the room. There's something inside this.
Could be just water for all we know.
We could crack it open like an egg and see.
I would suggest leaving them alone, but the other stuff was useful, is it not?
Sure.
Especially since I see you already put the crossbow,
Oh, this is useful underwater, but I'm going to make it better for above water. I don't even use crossbows anymore now that I have a gun, but I'm still going to hold on to it.
And to think, we almost didn't open that door.
There's still several weird canisters in there full of something.
Yes.
Or someone.
They don't have, like, there's no glass on them or anything, right?
No kind of glass on them or anything like that. No.
There's no movement coming from the inside, is there?
Nothing that you can detect.
The armor isn't sentient, is it?
No.
No.
There does seem to be, like, you don't know if it's drinkable at all. There does seem to be a mechanism on it that seems like maybe a, like a chemical, like, not like a water clock, but a chemical clock. That's built into this, like, the side of this thing. So effectively would be some kind of timer that could be set. It's not for long, and it's pretty rudimentary. Probably could be easily damaged, but it exists.
Could be some kind of explosive.
The magic that's on it doesn't scream explosive necessarily, unless it's something that's, like, already very explodey inside and it's letting out.
I think it's a timed release for whatever's held inside.
I'm not touching that.
I think we should lock this door again.
Well, maybe
we can get the suits and the weapons out.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe we should take what is actually that we know is useful out first.
Sure. The rest of it can stay locked inside.
I'll put the suits in one of the bunk rooms.
Okay.
And the extra weapons.
It's now no longer a locked room. It's a canister room.
Well, I'm going to lock the room, though. Or at least try.
Okay. I mean, you can lock it again. I don't have. You don't have to re-roll. Yeah. You didn't have to roll.
Yeah.
But that's fine.
Well, I did anyway.
Yeah.
It's done.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't have the magic on it, but it's at least got the normal lock on it.
Yeah.
So it's locked up. Those canisters are sealed up. Okay.
You want to go to the library first, or do you want to go to the submersibles directly?
That's a good question.
I mean, do you need to know some more information to figure out if they're workable?
I would like the books on submersibles one way or the other.
Oh, they're in here. I will show you.
Yeah, it's a small library. It's got effectively, it has a few books that are like on informational. They're all informational books, so it's got a few on informational topics that seem to be like they're at least all nautical. Like some on like ocean currents, winds, animal life, things like that, and then of course a couple technical things on like navigation, boat repair, and then the two that are based on submersibles. One that seems to be dealing with the dealing with submersible artifacts and some technical manuals. Yeah, that thing is certainly worth its weight in gold. You could probably get thousands of GP for it. Let me put it that way. That kind of thing is incredibly rare. It is probably quintessential to anyone that wants to assemble their own submersible ever would need. And
this is what item?
It is a book that's effectively an ancient manual on submersibles.
I think we know a person who'd be very interested in that.
Yeah.
Me.
Mm-hmm.
Other than you.
The man who is doing me a favor. Yeah, him. He's doing me a favor.
The other one, it has information on things like operations of a submersible. It seems to be a slight manual on using it, and also like understanding, reading things like ocean currents and weather while underwater. You know, it details ways of doing that kind of thing. So it has chapters on like, you know, the basic controls that are an average of submersibles. Like, you know, there could be some differences, but here's some of the simpler controls that are used. You know, calculating how much air you have if you don't have an air refreshing system, how to monitor your air refreshing system, you know, things like that. Reading ocean currents by watching particles, understanding weather, etc., you know, other possible, like, it lists some hazards you might have to deal with, things like that. It goes on and on. So, yeah.
Also, Chasm, the way down to the submersibles, there's a massive map.
Okay, this is also good. Well, there's a lot down here. I'm very excited, and I will likely spend some time down here. There's also a lot going on.
Checking out the map room, it is probably the most extensive map room you have ever seen. I mean, like, he has acquired maps from probably all over the world. There are, in fact, maps of some, like, islands and locations that you didn't, like, you didn't think there were maps of. You know, there were places that, like, you've only heard of in passing or things like that, you know? Areas where travel to them is very difficult because of ocean currents. There's an old map of places like Sapardia. This map of Sapardia is probably an antique that's maybe thousands of years old. It's in great shape. Granted, it's probably out of date at this point in time because it shows the empire. It shows information on the empires before they fell, but it gives you an idea of like this would have been like gold to your archaeological dig. You know, that's the kind of thing it is. It's like this map would have been wonderful. The maps of Rath, where it's marking where supposed caches of possible Phyrexian technology or activity could be on Dominaria.
Maxwell, do you know how much all of this is worth?
Do I?
A collection of like maps like this to someone that was looking for them would probably pay you at very least 10,000 gold pieces.
How much is our house worth?
Far less than that.
Yeah.
About that amount you bought your house for. Your house technically was originally, because remember, your house was a fixer-upper. And also there was a murder there, or a supposed murder there, and also it's at the Suicide Cliffs.
I think we spent 2,000 gold on it.
Something really cheap.
Catherine, I don't know if this is the best metric, but this is worth at least 5 times as much as our house.
Okay, well, our house does suck.
Like,
true, but it's still, you know,
the house in the original shape or the shape it is now.
Regardless, a lot, I'm guessing.
It's a lot.
There's stuff here that probably you couldn't price out. Like, there's information here that's probably like dangerous.
Oh, really?
The information on where possible
Phyrexian
stuff, like Phyrexian laboratories or strong or like hideouts would have been in Rath from other than the stronghold. The stronghold was the center of it, but you have to remember, they controlled the entire demi-plane. The demi-plane merged with Dominaria, and some of these places ended up in other places, not just Urborg. Like everybody knows, the Evankar Tower, the center of Rath, ended up in Urborg. Other stuff ended up in other places, all around the world. And this is marking some of those places.
I'm guessing there are map tubes here, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But this place is, like, filled with maps. I mean, like, there are so many here.
I think we should take some of the more dangerous maps with us.
I think I'm frozen up again. I think I'm frozen up again.
You're
stolen by some illegitimate means.
Yep.
Yes.
I was frozen up again. Yay.
Perhaps we burn them.
I'm not opposed to that. Although, perhaps we should at least read to get an understanding of what we're dealing with before we do that, if we're banishing the little bit of knowledge we know.
Maybe share it with the Weatherlight crew.
Yes, we share with the Weatherlight crew and their friends and then destroy them.
Because they may be able to at least take care of these places.
How much do we trust the Weatherlight crew?
A lot, personally.
Implicitly?
They're well-known heroes.
Well, I suppose better than anyone else.
Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. Show it to them, they figure out what to do with it, then we destroy it. So that it doesn't fall into the hands of shitty shadow people.
Yeah, like there's...
Hold on. A thought just crossed my mind, Kazran.
Oh,
We're entirely certain that none of the shadow people are working with them, correct?
Oh, yeah, no, we're sure of that.
They don't have any means of mimicry?
Oh, I mean, probably. There is one way we could ask one of them, but you're not going to like it.
Does it involve detecting their thoughts?
It involves you taking off that there ring that you're wearing that I gave you.
And talk to your friend that likes to talk to you in your head.
Yeah, I said you're not going to like it.
I mean, as long as I can put the ring back on again after the fact.
Probably.
I just want to be very certain. I trust all of us, but I mean, the Weatherlight seems very reputable, but at this point I can't even... I'm very paranoid.
Offer your friend money, because I think if I remember, he's more of a mercenary than actively antagonistic. So offered him money.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here, Maxwell. You are very certain from his continence money is not something he would be interested in.
I had a feeling about that too.
Yeah. There's probably something that he would be interested in, but you're not sure what it would be, unfortunately.
This could just be conjecture, but just something to keep in mind, given that these people seem extremely dangerous.
I mean, if he's hot.
I'm gonna tell you, he's not. He's probably a theoretical, incredibly dangerous being I created.
Is he hot?
He could be interested in love.
Or hot?
If your definition of hot, maybe. I don't think he actually has a gender either, because he's technically a sliver, but that's besides the point.
He's a sliver.
He's a sliver planeswalker.
Oh god.
So
bad.
He's connected to the hive mind of the multiverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not him.
Yeah. Granted, that means what he does is in the name of the hive, you know, so he knows where all the various beings exist. he knows what happened on Wrath and Dominaria to his kin too, and like, you know, here he's probably not very happy about it, because slivers aren't really something left on Dominaria after everything.
Well, you
know,
know,
they might be still around.
You can ask your friend if he wants to help us with this information. Probably not.
I fold my arms.
You don't have to. I'm not going to make you do anything.
No, I know. I'm gonna trust the Weatherlight crew on this one.
Okay.
I think it's just my nerves getting to me.
We go check out a submarine.
Yeah,
let's do that.
Why don't we wait till next week to do the submarine then? And theoretically, there are some slivers left over in Dominaria in like very limited amount, because most of the Apocalypse did a bad job to them. Anyway, so yes, we'll leave it off here for now and worry about checking out the submersibles then. And you found theoretically 3 locations that the power goes to. 3 out of 6. So there's 3 more areas to discover where that the power goes to them. Let's do our shoutouts then. We'll start with Matt's.
Tuesdays with 2 of these idiots, i.e. Joe and Tantus. We play Star Trek, and sometimes we punch changelings into solids, and sometimes we interrogate Cardassians that are really weird.
You gotta keep up with those Cardassians.
I make that joke.
She does make that joke often. All right.
And sometimes you have to write everyone's rank down on a sticky note and put it on your computer because you forget.
I just added it to my character sheet.
I don't look at my character sheet enough.
Hi everybody, I'm Fish Harlan. You can find me here. You can also possibly find me streaming. I don't know if I still do that, but maybe. But most importantly, this week you can find me undergoing the evolutionary process of carcinization. That's right, everyone. I'm becoming a crab.
Sometimes
okay.
Time for crab.
You'll be delicious with butter, boss.
I don't think that's true of every crab.
It's true of every crab.
Not this one.
Add enough butter.
That sounds like a challenge. Anyway, Lee.
Hey guys, I'm just Lee Belmont, your noble vampire hunter. I'm also a streamer. I'm currently trying to speedrun Paper Mario to get a sub 4 time, and I'm only like a minute away, so yeah.
Ooh. Cool.
Thanks.
Did I set this up? I don't know if I did. Joe. I didn't set it up. I never remembered to.
I'm Joe. You'll find me with Tantus and Mads on Tuesdays over at On Funny Ones channel for Star Trek, which you'll either see me playing a Jem'Hadar security officer, or my brain is dead today. I don't know.
Benzonite?
Benzonite, thank you.
Science guy.
Benzonite, science officer who is very anal, but a lot of fun to play.
Yeah. Tent Star Dracovin. Yeah, it doesn't work, Lightning. I have to set it up. I gotta set it up. I gotta remember him. Yeah. Exclamation point rip. I know. I'd set that up too. That should be just like, remember to set this goddamn stuff up. It should just be like the message that pops up for that. Anyway. Yeah. Tent Star Dracovin. For main schedule, most days that I'm going to be on stream will be at 2 p.m. EST. That's on Saturdays for discussing tabletop discussion show with me and a bunch of people talk about news of the week in tabletop and some interesting topics. Mondays for Records of Evil, a lawful evil D&D game set in a modern day version of Faerun. Legacies of Kain on Tuesdays, a Vampire the Masquerade game where they are having adventures in Kenya and dealing with killer croc monsters. And then, of course, there's always this game, which we're now at 9 p.m. So we're going to be starting at around then for adventures. God. Joe, thank you for that. Just thank you for that.
You're welcome.
You brain farted me so badly with that. I was going to say something else. I think that's about it. And of course, they mentioned the Star Trek game where I'm Gorn Science Officer. I don't know if I'm going to be making the secondary character I was going to. I was going to make a counselor, but apparently Josh wants to make a counselor NPC then, so maybe I'll figure out a different role.
Or you could ask him if he wants...
I had a different idea completely than what he was going to make. He wanted a Klingon counselor.
Yeah.
Which would be hilarious, but that was not what my plan was.
A true warrior gets over his problems. Get over it!
Yeah, anyway. So yeah, and I might get back to some streaming in one of these days if I get some time and feel like up for it. So until that time, I'd say everybody, have a great evening, good night for now, and farewell everybody.
Goodbye!
Top is
Meow.